Coney Island, a private lab at Stark International, day after tomorrow.
I've always been a practical man, but sometimes, that can hurt.
Legacy of Doom, a night in hell.
Don't really need a whole wardrobe of Iron Man armors anymore. My Extremis suit is versatile enough to handle most anything, and stockpiling unused technology leaves me vulnerable to techno theft. Still, watching one of my favorites being broken down for recycling is almost like watching an old friend die. Enough. Sentimentality's unproductive. I've got work to do. Transferring data from autosave circuits is the final step. Chips act like the black box on an airplane, recording my activities. Preserving details of past missions is good planning. Like I say, practical. After all, he who ignores the past is destined to. Wait a minute, that can't be right. Timestamp must have glitched. I was on vacation then. Didn't use my armor for days. Better key in playback. See what? Okay, that's the view from my helmet. Alright, but location data puts me in low orbit above Earth. How could I possibly be there if I was? Holy crap, him? Head starting to throb. This doesn't make sense. How could I forget an encounter with Victor Von Doom? After all, I went through, after what I barely survived. Starting with being thrown through time by one of Doom's disgruntled scientists, and ending up at Camelot in the days of King Arthur, with no access to the technology to send me back. As it turned out, the trip wasn't totally random. Doom had his own agenda, quickly forming an unsavory alliance with the sorceress Morgana Le Fay. It was a partnership that pitted us against each other in mortal combat, as I championed Arthur's cause, while Doom led a legion of the damned against the king's troops. In the end, I was able to thwart Doom's plan, and he was ultimately betrayed by Le Fay, which led to an even more unlikely alliance. But combining elements from each of our armors was the only way to fashion a single-use time jump, one that finally brought us back to our own era. We parted under an uneasy truce with Doom swearing revenge. I've often wondered why he never made good on that threat, which still doesn't explain. Head feels like it's being ripped apart, one image triggering another like a dam bursting. It's too much. Remember, I was in outer space that day. One of Stark International's research satellites had started to report erroneous star alignments, and as SI's CEO, I ordered my employee, Iron Man, to check it out, but diagnostic readings were normal. I couldn't find the problem, until a problem found me.
I'm afraid you'll have to finish your chores later.
What? Holy crap, Dr. Doom, the most dangerous man on Earth. My reaction was swift, instinctual, and completely ineffective.
Repulsor rays against a holographic projection. You're wasting your energy, and my time. I require your presence at my castle in Latveria. Millions of lives hang in the balance.
And that was it. He was gone. After treating me like a servant, as always, I wanted to tell him exactly where to stick his imperial attitude, but millions? Could be a trick, and probably was. But could I take that chance? No. And curse his blackened soul. He knew it. I dropped my modular propulsion pack at SI Stuttgart and headed inland. In minutes I was entering Latverian airspace. I knew because of the GPS readout in my helmet. The bullets raking my armor were another clue. Latveria was a troubled country. A military jet challenging an intruder wasn't totally unexpected. But I was just an ancillary target. It seemed the entire Latvian army was intent on storming the fortified bastion of their currently deposed monarch. As shell after shell burst against the shimmering force field protecting Doom's castle. And its master.
Well, stop dawdling. I'm generating a break in the energy barrier. If you've finished your nap, I suggest you use it.
One of these days, Doom. One of these days.
Is this how you always pursue matters of urgency? I can't grasp how Tony Stark has avoided insolvency all these years, employing such inefficient help.
I ran into a little delay, Doom. You might have mentioned there was a war going on, Doom.
War. Oh, that. merely another attempt by the people's government to assure that I don't return to power. The problem is being addressed.
Lord Doom, the trigger for your neutron pulse engine has been completed.
As I said, the problem is being addressed.
Wait a minute. Neutron radiation is fatal. I'm not going to let you kill all those.
Do you like your right hand, Avenger? Would you prefer to keep it? Compassion can be useful when properly manipulated, but not when it rules one's judgment, and that will ever be your weakness. Oh, very well. There are still a few adjustments to be made. I'll give you 10 minutes.
Naturally, the soldiers assumed I was there to help Doom. Even if I got them to listen, they'd never believe me. In an instant, a barrage of heat-seeking missiles was streaking my way, and that fighter jet was on my six again. A dangerous combination, until I realized there might be a way to use the two against each other. Step 1 was recruiting some unexpected help.
Gott an Himmel.
Take it easy, Flyboy. I just need to borrow your ride for a while. Step 2, kill my boo jets. And of course, Step 3, cross fingers and toes. Phew. Without heat from my boo jets to home in on, those missiles targeted the plane's engines instead, leaving me nearly 3 seconds to reactivate my boot jets before slamming into the ground. Fortunately, my unwilling accomplice had fainted by then. Less chance of him breaking any bones as he rolled to a stop. Which still left the problem of convincing the others to back off. They were soldiers, they were loyal and brave, but fortunately, they weren't stupid.
Are you quite through? Good. It's time to go.
Go? Where?
My Kabbalistic probes have discovered that Mephisto has found a way to hasten the end of days. In layman's terms, the end of the world. I find that presumptive, therefore, I've modified my time cube to traverse other dimensions, to take us to Mephisto's realm.
Seems to me we had a little trouble getting back the last time.
No longer. Remote transmitters will signal the cube to retrieve us. This one is yours.
And I'll have yours as well. Give. Scans showed the two devices to be identical. Nevertheless, I scrambled them before handing one back. It wasn't much, but at least I had the collateral satisfaction of hearing Doom growl with annoyance. One question. Why me?
You've proven adequate against mystic dangers in the past, and I might need some lackey work done.
Lackey? Doom, has anyone ever told you you're a... There was a prickly sensation, like electric wires being scraped across my skin, and then, I was somewhere else. Oh, hell. The landscape was Dante's Inferno envisioned by M.C. Escher, an industrialized madness of heat and liquid steel.
It wasn't like this, in my studies, I mean.
What it was a scramble of contradictions, incomprehensible, but not empty. The gelatinous inhabitants slithered forward like sentient slugs, their intent clearly malevolent. But if these are the damned?
Then they are human, no longer.
They sizzled and screamed, then quickly reformed. And I decided, just this once, that Doom could have a point. Still, it was 2 against thousands? We were rapidly overwhelmed. But with molten metal flowing in all directions, it was easy enough to improvise a new defense. And from my new perspective, I was able to spot a sign from above, literally. Doom, over there, move. He didn't like being ordered around. I resisted the temptation to add, nya. But for the moment, there were more serious matters to attend to. Just how serious, I was about to discover.
Welcome to my world.
Mephisto.
You've gone for a different look since last I was here.
Since last?
I thought it might be amusing to redecorate in honor of my new guest. I'm impressed. Doom, very well. A bargain is a bargain.
I didn't know what was going on, but it was easy to guess who was about to be screwed.
Save your efforts, today. Our transmitters may be the same, but they require a booster circuit to work. A circuit I incorporated into my armor. And thus, at last, vengeance is mine.
Don't look so puzzled, Avenger. Your situation is simple. I traded Doom that sliver of metal in exchange for help in ridding the overworld of a major force for good. That force would be you, who shall now remain in hell forever.
Next, what now, hero?